Right, I'm all mouthwashed. Don't feel much better to be fair, but I'm all mouthwashed. So this, now, it's going to be predictable, and I hate, well, I say I hate to be predictable, but I spend my life being predictable, so there you go. But I'm going to put beads on it, and the reason I'm going to put beads on it is because it needs a bit of weight. It's not, I don't know, it's too unruly, and it definitely needs weight. Now what you've got to think about here, you've got to be very careful. My hands feel a bit. Be very careful you don't put anything important near the line where you might cut. So I'm going to, if you bear in mind that I'm going to be running stitching within a smidgen of that line, that internationally recognised measurement of a smidgen, within that line, so I'm going to need to start this about here so that I don't get it anywhere where it might be accidentally cut when I'm finishing this piece off. So if I put a little pin there. Now, I'm going to, you could dangle beads, you can do whatever you like, but I'm not going to dangle them, I'm going to just put them on the top, and I think it'll give it a bit of weight. So I'm going to thread my beading needle. Look at the shape of my beading needle, it's like, it needs a doctor. And I'm not going to put a knot in it. What I'm going to do is something that I did in a previous class that I find much easier. I've got a little receptacle here. That's a big word, isn't it? And I'm just going to use white beads, okay? So I put them in the receptacle. Make a note of that word, because they're easier to get out than these useless packets. Got one on there. Oh, having a dodgy nail doesn't help. Right. So what I'm going to do, I've got my needle threaded. I'm going to put a bead on now and use it as a stopper instead of a knot, okay? I find it so much easier than putting a knot in Gutterman. So you just let it fall to near the end and then you just tie it on, okay? And that takes away the need for any kind of knot. So I'm going to tie it 3 times. I've just heard a door slam. I hope it's not a delivery. Postman, he must have wet the bed, he's early. I've just amended my order details as well for my delivery to say that I wanted them to leave it in the rear porch. Not that I've got a rear porch, but I've got a side gate, so at least they'll come through there. Right, so if I put that up where that pin is, so that bead goes at the back and acts as a stopper, but because this lace is so open, there is a little bit of concern that I'm going to put this in a hoop actually, it'd be easier. There is a little bit of concern that the bead might pull through because it is a very open lace. So, and you'll also have noticed hopefully, oh see it's come out already. So that wasn't a very good plan, was it? But it just shows you that I'm on the ball with what could possibly happen. I think it was there. So you'll notice I'm not going through the base fabric, I've only gone through the back of the lace because I still want this to be free. I don't want it to be fixed to the base fabric. And then just go over it a couple of times on the top. Hopefully that'll keep it in. Just going through the lace here, just to tighten on. Now that bead is actually sitting there on the top, which doesn't matter, that's fine. Okay, that's secure, so that's alright. So, and then take my needle through to the back. And my lace is really, really open, like I said, but there are definitely different sections to the lace. Okay, it's like a net. So there is a thread between each net area. So I'm coming up through an open area of the net. And literally just going to bead all the way along here. And come up. Ready for the next one. And hopefully it will just give it that tiny little bit of weight that'll encourage it to sit better on this piece. Like I said, I don't want it as if it's glued to the cloth with no movement whatsoever. But I just wanted it to have a little bit more structure to it. So, I mean, I'm I'm obsessed with dangling beads, but I'm resisting that here. I mean, if I really wanted to go OTT and properly like go mad, I could dangle beads as well. I could dangle some white sequins. I mean, don't you be constrained by what I do. You must do what you want to do. And if you think, no, I've got to dangle, then dangle, go ahead. With my blessing. We've all got to do what makes us happy. But I'm actually looking at this now, and I am thinking that that does make me happy. It's barely there, barely noticeable, but it's there. So close inspection, you'd see it. And I love that about any work. You look at it and you think, oh, that's nice. And then you get a bit closer and you think, oh, look at that, I didn't notice that. Oh wow, look at this little bit. So, you know, that's all part of it as well. Creating those little magic moments when you see things that aren't necessarily obvious on first glance. So I think already, don't know if you can see that here, I think already that's adding something, and it is settling it down a little bit. It is just enough to give it that little bit of control and that little extra something. So if I do that all the way along, I won't do it all on camera, it's not necessary, but if I do it all the way along, right there, so I'll leave it there and I'll finish that off camera. Don't forget this is going to be damp stretched as well before it's cut out, but probably what I will do is damp stretch it before I do the running stitch around the outside. Because that, I won't cut it out till the running stitch is done, but once it's damp stretched I'm pretty confident I can running stitch the outline within the boundaries of the, where's my book? Within the boundaries of the marked outline. Just let me show you what I mean. I'm pretty confident I can do that without creasing it, without needing to damp stretch it again. So let's say this is the edge of my shape, alright, well that was stupid, wasn't it? So this is the edge of my shape, and these are the stitches that are marking out my stitch area that I did initially, right, here, can you see that? Yeah. So I will damp stretch it, and then I will come back and running stitch very close to that line before I cut it out, and then I will cut down that line. Okay, but I'm not there yet anyway, because I still need to decide about those other areas, those open areas at the top that don't have anything in them. I need to decide about those. So I'll finish this off camera, and I'm going to stab stitch that. I think that'll be enough, but then I'll have opportunity down here. Maybe I could do gouache stitch down there, but I think that just needs the stab stitch. And I also think what I love about that, these are raggy pieces of old cloth, so doing the stab stitch across there will give a sense of that repair and tradition, and like my grandmother might have done, just stitch two things together to hold them together, because they were falling apart, or do a little bit of darning down there, and that's my nod to that, is the stab stitch across there, the simplicity of that. It's like sutures on a wound. So really it's like suturing your cloth together, and I think that will be sufficient there. And then ornamental down here with the gouache stitch. Okay, right, I'm going to turn off, and then I'm going to do another video about the actual piece itself, how it's going to evolve, because I know that one person is waiting for me to see what I'm going to do with mine. And also remember, you don't have to do what I do. This is just me hoping to spark you into something else. Okay, you'll be like, oh, Karen's doing that, I'm going to write down I want to do it this way. That's what I want to happen. Okay, right, so I'll turn off and do that.